She's been holding for 20, 30 minutes because I held the last guest over, because I held Ted Nugent over, kind of like a car wreck or traffic. It just backs up because everybody's so good. That's why a lot of times I go into the fourth hour that Paul Watson's hosting, because it's all just as good. It's not like I'm going over to the last guest because they're not as good as Ted Nugent, or I'm, going over Candice Owens because she's not as good as them. It's just that it's hard to hang up on these beautiful souls. So we're going to go to break in about 12 minutes. You've got the floor. Let's talk about the censorship you went through, how you overcame it. But let's recap what we covered last week and the video they censored you did with Paul and I live, radio/TV, when they set you up, the CIA, Gamergate, that how they go recruit men, women, minorities, you name it, with fake racism attacks. That's incredible testimony. So Candice Owens, thank you for joining us from Red Pill Black.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
So let's start. I mean, where do you want to get? The hurricane, what's happening, the censorship, how you struck back, how it all began. Let's start where it all began for you.
All right. So for me, I always say that I was force-fed the red pill because I went and created a company, and a woman named Zoe Quinn contacted me and told me that she was a woman that was attacked by anonymous white men on the internet, and that if I did not pull my company back and defund it, pull myself off of a fundraising platform, that I was going to be attacked by anonymous white men. I didn't buy her story, and I didn't pull myself off of Kickstarter, and within hours, I was being attacked by what I was supposed to believe were Trump supporters. Everyone had this kind of handle, pro-Trump John, or pro-Trump Joe, and they were saying, nigger, 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 die, die, die. And obviously, I'm not a moron. It was pretty obvious that she had orchestrated the attacks. And when I came out swinging against her in a public manner on Twitter, and I said, I know that she is harassing herself and that she is behind some funded campaign to attack people and try to make them think that it's someone else, I was swiftly covered by leftist media trying to smear me. Basically paint me out as a person who fell for a conspiracy theory, not someone who had actually lived through a girl calling her, threatening her, and then sending trolls on her. And those trolls were not white men on the internet. They were women. And I am certain that they were at that time actually being funded by Twitter, because she was working as the official anti-harassment campaign chief of Twitter.
Wow. And again, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, they've all been caught. Mainstream news doing the exact same thing.
Right.
It's beyond hiring actors. And, of course, there are some real racists out there. They're usually super disenfranchised losers. They're in their mother's basements demographically. They hate everybody, just like the fake left Antifas in their mom's basements. And, I mean, literally, that the algorithms show that. They are losers who I'm sad for, who are blaming somebody else for their own problems. But in this whole racial division operation, you read WikiLeaks, they say, we're going to use culture war to maintain control. That means race war. That seems to be imploding right now, but it shows the boldness. Since you've gone public about this and reached millions of people with your channel and your riveting testimony, have you had other people reach out to you that have had similar things done? Because I've done this 2 times. We should do it again. People always get mad at us saying, oh, my gosh, then you've got the bots. Well, we went to Discus. That's a third party. But we can also maybe try to work with them. Is why I haven't done this in 2 years. I asked IT, I said, why haven't we tracked IP addresses to show the guys saying, I want to kill all the whites versus I want to kill all the blacks and all these racial names? We found out we're the same groups, the same PR firms, the same bots. They weren't even hiding themselves. And it's like, because, Alex, you got tired of the Secret Service coming because of death threats to Obama, you turned it over to third-party sites. So Discus has all that now. But we've done the reports where they are, I mean, obviously, they want to end discourse in a video about police brutality or about North Korea, whatever. They just go in and say N-word here, cracker there, to do it. So you experienced that yourself. You speak to that.
Absolutely. And what I've said and what I've tried to get out there is that they have developed anti-marketing firms. So they go out and they actively attack people, and they try to control the narrative in terms of who the people think that the attacks are coming from. So for me, with this ominous threat, if you don't do what I say, white men are going to attack you. And then I say, I'm not going to do what you say. And then all of a sudden, every pro Trump, troll tries to attack me. So they are relying on stupidity and they are relying on anonymity on the internet. And the reason they came for me is that they actually mistakenly thought that I had created a product that was going to be able to unmask trolls in the middle of the election. And imagine if I had created that product, if we were able to say, hey, Hillary Clinton has 50 million followers on Twitter. Oh, I just actually realized that all of these followers are fakes. And she actually...
They wanted to get you in their stable of mind control.
Right. Right, absolutely. And I wasn't stupid enough. I understood that the threats weren't real and that they were lying and that they were using this quite literally a white lie to try to get me to come out swinging against white men and grow their forces. And unfortunately, they picked on the wrong person. And I am back, and I feel it is absolutely my duty to expose this lie.
And now they're pretty scared because after you came on with Paul and I last week, you got censored.
I did. I got censored immediately after I came on with you guys on YouTube for a video that did not even have one cuss word in it.
Let's talk about what they did.
So, yeah, I put up a video basically just not even attacking. I was reading verbatim the list of demands that Black Lives Matter Louisville chapter member had put out for white people, which essentially said, I want your homes. And you guys are all small, D-I-C-K white men. It was really racist and it was aggressive and it was super ignorant. And I wanted to speak out against it because people like her give African Americans and Black people in this country a bad reputation. And it's important that we stop being afraid to being called coons and stand up and say, no, this is BS and I do not subscribe to this. And apparently, I don't know, we have suddenly arrived into an era where liking white people or defending white people is unacceptable socially. So I received an email from YouTube, which just said that my video had been pulled for bullying and harassing. I did not bully a single person. I did not comment on the person who wrote the article. I literally read her list and then said why I thought it was important that Black people speak out against it, which basically lets me know that you can be anything you want as long as you subscribe to Democrat thought. They will always propel you. They'll always give you a voice. They'll always give you a channel. But the second that you get smart and you break the chains of thought and you say, actually, I'm educated, they will pull the carpet from under your feet as fast as possible. And I've now learned this lesson twice.
But the good news is you fought back, so they backed off. They're always trying until we just give up. So it's a war of wills. Right.
Absolutely. And credit where it's due. Paul said to me, you need to make noise about it, because I was so shocked. I was like, I don't really know what I should do. And I just went on a Twitter rant and I spoke about it and I didn't shut up about it. And I tweeted and I tweeted and I tweeted. And 4 hours later, they reinstated the video without so much as an email, nothing. I appealed it on YouTube and basically told them that this is obviously, just leftist BS, and they reinstated it.
Well, I had Ted Nugent on today, and I just called him yesterday, and asked him to come on, or 2 days ago, and he agreed. I don't ever come up with themes on purpose. They just come up from what's happening. And a few months ago, massive censorship got launched. They admit it's happening. Everything else was a beta test. It's here. But everywhere where people who are big enough complain, have allies that work together to point out it's happening. When Breitbart gets censored, I talk about it. If Drudge does, I talk about it. Because that's me, too. It's not like I'm just such a perfect person. No, I understand. They get them. They get me next. Then they've got to back off. It's only the little guys out there who would become big, they know, who get censored up front. And Facebook says, you better not post that again. You better watch what you're doing. They tell you these messages. And people self-censor. This is so cult-like. This is so anti-American. This is so North Korean communist. This is so evil.
It is. It's absolutely evil, and it's fascist. And people don't know this, but YouTube operates on a 3-strike policy. So not only did they take down my video, but they gave me a strike. If you get 3 strikes on YouTube, they will pull your channel and delete everything.
For community guidelines, when they empower super guideline members that work for them or who they've approved as mods, whose vote is 1,000 or 100, depending on their level. So they've got these little commissars, these political officers that go out and say, Candice Owens, YouTube, at Red Pill Black, she's calling for true Martin Luther King unity. We don't want that. Ban her.
Exactly. That's literally verbatim. That's got to be the best version of events that happened. All I was doing was calling for unity and saying that somebody putting out something as racist as that list was wrong. And that was apparently unacceptable. You cannot say that it's wrong to be racist towards white people.
And, of course, we know what's going on. It's in the WikiLeaks. It's in the Ford Foundation. They're trying to get white people to become racist, to control everybody with racial division like we're a prison, where there's the black area, the white area, the Hispanic area. I mean, that's what they're doing. is if enough white people see incredible racism, they'll go, oh, my gosh, this is really real. And then they'll fall into it as well.
Right, and they do. They almost do fall into it. They thank me for the videos, and they say, thank you for putting out this video, because for a second I was starting to think that every black person thought like this. That every black person wanted my home, that every black person thought that they were entitled to everything that I worked for because of slavery, which I wasn't even a part of, you know? And that is why I say, if you are African American and you see something that does not represent us or our culture, it is important that you stand up and say something.
Well, I tell you, Martin Luther King got killed because he wanted unity. And as soon as Malcolm X wanted it as well, he got killed when he was preaching. Not that, you know, he went through a lot of stuff, and I get why he said what he said, but once he figured out, no, actually, we need to unify, that's when they killed him. And it's the same thing here today, that we've all got problems and nobody's perfect, but we're being artificially manipulated, and we've got to admit the globalists are the main issue. Doesn't mean there aren't issues. The globalists are manipulating us. They admit they're manipulating us, and we need to just wake up from this nightmare. And it seems like people like you are leading us out of that nightmare.
Absolutely. And again, my focus is on African Americans. That's where I come from. That's where I'm obviously the most attached to. I know what I've lived through, and I understand the struggle of being black, you know, but I also have outthought it, and I understand what the real issues are. And let me tell you, our issues have got nothing to do with white people and everything to do with the leftist agenda. We have been used like mules over and over again, and it's time for us to stop being sheep and start being lions.
Well, most white people I know are guilty, and they're just working, and they feel bad, and they want to prove that they're not bad people. And then they're manipulated by these spiders that use their good intention to control folks. Another white folks are just
the white guilt. They tap into the tree of white guilt, as I like to say.
Exactly. And then you got others that just will be racist with people and then not be racist. It's just all just fakes like everybody has. But it is a bunch of globalist, high-powered, old white people and royalty that are using divide and conquer to control all of us. So at the end of the day, the weird kernel of truth is, you know, it is some old, rich white people that are actually manipulating all this against everybody. And that's why they hate people like you so much.
They do, absolutely. I'm the first person that they want to censor, because they know that the more that my message gets out to black people aren't going to go, oh, well, she must be a white nationalist. They're going to think twice. You know, I look like them. So why am I saying something that is ultimately, if it's ultimately going to hurt me in the end? I wouldn't do that. That's nonsensical. So again, I am the biggest threat to them, because if I can have a platform and I can speak out against it, then they're going to lose the remaining base of black people that they have.
That's right. And all this fake racism stuff gives cover to real racists, but we're tribalists. When we come back, then what did you think of Trump in Houston? How do you think the enemy is going to strike back? That's really the big question we're going to ask. And Paul Watson is warmed up. He's in the gates. He's ready. Candice Owens buoys my heart to know there's so many great young people with beautiful souls, beautiful hearts, awake to what's happening. But I got to tell you, there's so many other people captured in the bondage of globalist disinformation. And looking at what happened in Houston and how that storm that was to be this big tragedy, and still is, blew up in the face of the whole fake race war narrative. And then to watch the demons on CNN and MSNBC so angry and just so pissed. It's like, gosh, where do they find so many evil people? So we're winning in many ways, but also I'm just like hurt. Like, why are there so many bad people? Well, a lot of greedy globalists got control, and they found folks that'll do whatever they're told. We just have to turn away from these people and promote new independent media like InfoWars and, you know, the work that she's doing over at Red Pill Black on YouTube and Twitter. Candice Owens, in the few minutes we've got left, because Paul's coming up, I'm going to let him have the whole hour. I'll always jump in and take over. Paul's going to be hosting from England. Other points you'd like to add?
You know, I just would agree with you that the media circus, it needs to stop. They need to pull back, or don't. They can keep doing it, because at the end of the day, they are absolutely hurting themselves. And what they have done with, or tried to do with, the Houston narrative is absolutely disgusting. What I saw there was beautiful. What the president did was a phenomenal presidential job. And
exactly. Why can't they stop then? We don't even want to hurt them. We don't want to conquer them. We just want them to get off our backs. Why won't they stop?
I don't know, but what I saw was black people, white people, Spanish people, every color, race, and creed of an individual coming together in what really was a beautiful display of not just Americanism, but humanity. And if they can't accept that and love that, then they are just cold people. And I'm happy to be the part of the growing number of people that are turning them off completely, because nobody cares what they think.
Exactly. Candice Owens, in your gut, though, women's intuition, how are the race controllers who are beyond racist, they just coldly manipulate folks like psychopaths, what's their next attack going to be then?
Something big and over the top like Charlottesville, I'd have to imagine. They've got to set up, they've got to get cameras there, and they've got to say, well, if you don't believe that the race war is happening, we are going to show you something that never happens, and just keep playing it over and over and over again until you are brainwashed to believe that this is your everyday life. But I think their attempts are growing more desperate, and every time that they do it, they reveal a little bit more about themselves. And I have full confidence that, as you said and as I've said, people are waking up, and their days are numbered. So it's nothing that I fear. Whatever they do, it'll be a big deal in their own echo chamber and nowhere else.
Do they realize they're in an echo chamber?
They must. I mean, they lost the election. They said he was going to lose by 80%, right? They had Hillary at 80%. So they must at some point realize that they're in an echo chamber, but they're being paid good money by these globalists to pretend as they're like actresses, like watching an actress on a show. I mean, at this point, I can't imagine that they're all this stupid. I have to hope that they're not all this stupid. But like I said, they get paid to do that. And for them, it's just a job.
Bottom line, George Soros is not happy. Candice Owens, Red Pill Black. People should follow you on YouTube and Twitter. Are you going to launch your own website soon? Because they may censor you there. You need to.
Yeah, I just bought the domain name rpblack.com. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it.
Well, you're awesome. Hey, you're amazing. We want to work. We want you to be a contributor at InfoWars. So
I would love to.
Well, we love you. Let's talk soon. Let's get you flown down to Austin. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one.
You bet.